Kevin O'Connell, the first-year Minnesota Vikings head coach, and, of course, was with the Rams last year with their Super Bowl run. Coach, good to have you on again. When do you get your Super Bowl ring?
I was actually able to make it back towards the end of the summer, right before training camp. Got to go back to LA with not only myself, but 2 or 3 of our other coaches I brought here with me. We all flew back for the day, and it was actually really cool. I mean, that was the first time I've ever been a part of something like that, an actual ceremony where you just realize how two things really. You realize how hard it is to win a Super Bowl, but then keep that team together, because there was a lot of players that had moved on, a lot of coaches that had moved on to some different spots, and to get that group together one final time like that. And for me, I flew out to Minnesota about 48 hours after the Super Bowl game, so I hadn't really seen anybody post game outside of a couple players and Matthew and Cooper and obviously Sean. So it was great to see everybody. The ring is unbelievable. Don't really know what I'll do with it ever other than just lock it away and hopefully, not lose it.
How many times were you cut during your career? You played for, 6 teams?
I played so let's go through it. So I was drafted by New England, played there for a season. My second training camp there towards the end, I got let go. Thought I was going to get reunited with Josh McDaniels. He had taken the Bronco job that year, but I was not, unfortunately. I did go to the Detroit Lions, who had the priority claim that year, and then got traded a day later to the Jets, where I was there for 3 years. Had a stint in Miami in training camp. Had a stint with the Chargers to finish up. So all those times, Dan, unfortunately, I was sitting in the head coach's office getting cut. So probably about 4, 5, 6 times total at different times, and heard a familiar story most of the times, but it was all part of the journey to probably lead me, and I say lead me, probably shove me more so into the coaching profession.
Yeah, because at some point you have to say, I'm not going to make it as a quarterback in the NFL. Now, do you say it, or is it told to you that, you know what, maybe you need to start thinking about another line of work?
Depends who you talk to, because early on it was, here's what you need to do to improve. For me, I always just felt like I knew where to go with the football, but I just wasn't naturally accurate enough to, play at the elite level that you have to throw the ball with in this league. But as I kind of moved forward, I don't know whether it was Rex Ryan's just brutal honesty sometimes, but there was a couple times where he said, you're going to make a heck of a coach one day, but you sure don't make a very good quarterback. So, and he didn't always say it that politically correct, but I'll tell you this much: some of the greatest coaches I've been around, I was lucky because they didn't miss out on a chance to tell me, "Hey, have you ever thought about coaching? You ever thought about, that being kind of your life's work?" A lot of people, Rex included. Mike Pettin, who's here as our assistant head coach here, was the D coordinator when I was with the Jets. I spent a lot of time with those guys on that side of the ball. They had their own way of saying it, that's for sure. But I'm very thankful they did, because they planted the seed, and then ultimately, I didn't miss a chance throughout from my rookie year on. Maybe I should have been worrying more about throwing the ball instead of just thinking all the time, but I didn't miss a chance to be absorbing things that I really do feel like helped me to this very day.
4 career completions.
I think, is it 4 or 6?
I think you were 4 for 6.
That sounds right. I see. I didn't worry too much about whether it got completed. I just threw it 6 times. I know
that. Do you remember all 4 completions?
I think I do. I know for sure the Miami game. That was the famous Wildcat game with Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown, if you remember, in Foxborough. Got to play a good chunk of that second half, and then I played a little later on in that year. It was about 15 degrees versus the Arizona Cardinals. They eventually went to the Super Bowl that year, but they didn't have much desire to be playing in late December in Foxborough in a snowstorm.
Yeah, I remember that. How would you do you have an idea how good your team is right now?
I do. I think I feel really good about where we're at. I feel really good about how things have kind of come together,
Would
both
you tell me if
schematically.
you didn't feel good right now about your team?
I would not, Dan, but I can, I'm going to be honest with you today, and I can, and
Okay.
I can honestly tell you, I feel very good about where we're at. Schematically, putting in the systems we put in, really in offense and defense and special teams, and then really kind of the roster that we inherited here with some great veteran leadership, obviously some young talented players, and then I think Kwesi and his staff and our coaching staff combined have done a nice job adding some real integral parts of really our team that will give us some depth, but also guys that will play very significant roles for us.
I thought you were going to go into broadcasting. I thought that's what you wanted to do, that if this didn't work out. Were you close to going into broadcasting as opposed to coaching?
I was. I actually I got a chance to do it. Not significantly, but I got a chance to broadcast some games. Got a chance to do some studio shows and things like that. And I really enjoyed it because I thought it was a way to stay around the game, and I could watch tape and come up with ways I thought teams would win the game and advantages they had, and then be able to kind of talk about those, if possible, and really what happened, Dan, is when I first got done playing, my wife, she's turned into an unbelievable coach's wife. I mean, we've got our fourth kid on the way due this year, and I don't know how she does it some days, but it was really just a family decision at first, where I just thought, hey, you know what? We've been traveling around a lot. You were always with me every step of the way when I was going from city to city as a player. Why don't we just hit the pause button for a second? I'll try to make this career work. And I enjoyed it, but ultimately there was always just something missing for me, as far as, just being truly in it, being in it on a day-to-day basis, being around the players, being around coaches, that when I got the opportunity to coach quarterbacks in 2015, I jumped at it and really haven't looked back since.
Did you schedule the childbirth around the football season?
We did not. We did not at all. We actually just enjoyed the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl after party, and
Wait, is it a
hadn't really.
Super Bowl baby?
I can't confirm or deny that, Dan. I really can't. But but no, we.
If you name it Cooper or Stafford O'Connell.
How do you think that sounds?
I like Cooper O'Connell. Or Cup
Yeah.
O'Connell. Cup O'Connell.
There you go. Well, we do know it's going to be a girl, so working that in might be a little bit more difficult.
Okay.
So,
all right.
But yeah, I'll let you. You got to get back to me on that because I know you and the fellas can probably give us some good thoughts there.
I got you guys making the playoffs, so don't screw it up because I've done the hard work to predict this. Now you guys got to go out there and shouldn't be asking much. I mean, Packers, no big deal. You don't have to worry about the Bears or the Lions, so just the Packers. That's not a big deal. I can get 10 wins out of you guys, right?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think obviously led by the Packers. I think our division's going to be, a really, really strong division because I got a lot of respect for Dan Campbell and that coaching staff, and they've clearly, improved their roster. And obviously Brad Holmes, I was with their general manager. I was with him in Los Angeles. I know they know how to build, a tough, football team. They've added a lot of talent, around the skill positions around Jared, and obviously my background with Jared, and then, obviously, Coach Eberflus there in Chicago with a good young quarterback. I mean, our division, kind of where it's at right now, and obviously the Green Bay's been the standard. We've got a lot of work to do in the division. We get 3 home games in the division in our first 6 games, so a lot of work to be done early. And we're looking to try to come out of the gates as fast as possible.
You're saying all the right things, Coach speak. You are.
Oh, come on.
You got it. You got it down there. You look good in purple, by the way, too.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you.
Hey, stay in touch. Good luck, and thank you for joining us, Kev.
Yeah, appreciate you, Dan.
That's Kevin O'Connell. Just turned 37. Got another child on the way. Super Bowl baby.